Hello crafters, it's Kevin. This is the video for the little tag gift box project. And once again, we are using one of our mini paper pumpkin boxes. These are really nice little boxes. They're good and sturdy. You can color on them, you can stamp on them, you can do all kinds of things on them. And the insides of them are coated and lined, and they're food safe. So you can put cookies, fudge, squares, whatever you want inside of them. Or in the case of what we sort of designed this for, was a box to go along with the tag project that is also included in this month's craft day in a box. Make some tags and you can store the tags inside the box, or you could give it as a gift to somebody. We are going to use one stamp, and that would be the Christmas cheer or the holiday. You'd have to mask off the S on the holiday to get holiday cheer. And that's the only stamp we're going to use. And then from the dies, we've used both the outline image and the letters from the cheer. But you'll notice that when I show it to you here in just a moment, this die is vertical. We're going to make it horizontal. So you will need to find from your packet the paper pumpkin box. It is not assembled, so we are going to assemble the paper pumpkin box. You're going to need your choice of one of the pieces of Designer Series paper, and I'm showing you two options here. So there is this beautiful floral, I'm calling it floral, it's greenery image that has got three different shapes of pine boughs and little branches in the background. That's a nice one. There's this one with the green and the pine cones, but there are 10 more patterns in your stack of paper. You decide which one you like. The other elements that you're looking for, there should be a piece of embossed soft succulent. It's just a little strip that's going to go behind our letters. And then in your packet of extra papers and whatnot, you should have a little half-inch strip. I'm hoping that I remembered to throw these in the bag. If I didn't, my apologies, but you must have a little half-inch strip off of white when you're cutting card fronts and whatnot. You probably have, like me, a little bin of half-inch strips somewhere, so a little scrap to put the Christmas or the holiday on. And then in your goodie bag, you're going to need a couple of the little gold stars. You're going to need a couple of little green holly leaves of your choice. And you're going to need cheer letters in whatever color you like. Now, I'm using the evening evergreen ones just because they sort of go with the color theme. And either the olive cheer background, or we gave you some gold ones as well. So just to show you variety, when I make this one, I'm going to do it with the gold one. Okay, so first, to start, grab your paper snips, and we're going to cut up our cheer. And how I sort of decided to do this, I looked at the letters, and for example, we're going to separate the R off the bottom. This sort of, I'm going to call it a leaf because I don't know what you call it, a sprig, whatever, is more attached to the E than it is the R. So I'm going to snip it off the R. The same here. This little berry and this other spriggy here really belongs to the E. So I'm going to snip it off the R. The R's got two. Okay, so most letters are going to end up with two on them somewhere. And you let the other letter have the rest. Now this berry is going to look a little funny because when I snip the R off, I want the letter. I'm not worried about the berry. I'm worried about getting my R so that it looks like an R. So I'm sacrificing that one berry as I snip my R square. So there, I've got my R for my end, and now I'm going to go fix up that berry because it doesn't look like a berry anymore. And I'm actually just going to snip it right off. And now it just looks like my sprig ends in a point. Okay, and this sprig on the E is good. Now, same thing for the next one. I'm going to take and cut at the top of my E like like that. And I'm just going to go right off the top and sacrifice that one little piece that was sticking up here. And I'm going to cut that off the bottom here. And I'm just going to clean up the little sprig on the bottom. So I've got a sprig hanging off the bottom right of my E. Whoops. Get a hold of this here. Same thing again. There's a little berry on the end of this sprig that's at my E. So I'm just going to cut it right off at the top of the E. Cut the top of the E off again. So I've got a nice E. And then I'm just going to clean up this one little berry sprig here. And just bring this to a sharper point on that one. Okay. And then on my C, we're going to cut off at the C. And again, there's a berry on the edge of the H here, so we're just going to snip off like that. So I've got my H. And yeah, actually my C looks pretty good. So the C and the H came out fairly well. All right. So there's really, once you're done, you've got 3 or 4 tiny little flecks that you cut off of the berries, and you got one little piece that came out between the 2 E's, and that's all you're throwing away. Everything else is still there. So the easiest way to put this together is with a fine tip glue, if you have it. Make sure that your letters are the right side up. There is a definite way when you look at them again, the die will bevel the top edge just a little bit and the bottoms will be flat. So find your tops for your letters and get everything lined up. I'm just going to work with this strip for the moment. And I'm going to use my liquid glue. I don't have a fine tip glue with me right now, and I'm not sure how many of you do either. So I'm just going to use liquid glue and show you how to do it very carefully. So we're going to start with our middle E. That's the easiest way to do it. Little dots. Little dots on the E. I'm not worried about all the greenery. I'm going to use my grid paper to line myself up so that I can know where my middle is. And I'm going to put my E right in the middle. Now, I happened to pick the E that had the 2 pieces on it. Just by coincidence, that's also the E that I put here. I don't really think it matters, but it just happened to fit that way. The E that has the 3 on it actually does nest nicely in to the other one. So we'll come back to that one in a minute. Now, actually I do want to put it there just for placement, but I want to put my R on the end to make sure that I fit. And they might overlap a little where they get bunched up here. Yeah, okay, that's going to be fine. So I'm going to do my next E. Little dots. The only thing you have to be careful of when you're doing foil is not to get glue on the top of it. So if when you press down all of a sudden glue oozes out, don't keep going with your finger, because if you get the glue on your finger and then you touch the top of your foil, the glue will be on the top of your foil and it'll smudge your foil and you'll never get it off. So little dots of glue. Like that. I just squeezed the glue out from underneath the top. So I'm going to use my bone folder maybe here to press There. Okay. Now we go do the H on the other side. And our C. And just like that, we have a sideways cheer. So it doesn't have to be vertical on every card that you do. All right, now comes the fun. This is where if you have a take your pick tool and or tweezers, anything like that to help you hold on to your letters and whatnot. And very, very, very fine little dots of glue. And again, glue on top of foil. Just know that once it's there, it's there. You're not going to move it around or you're going to smudge your foil. So I'm just putting it down and letting it be. Yep. It's going to be a combination of tweezers and pokers and a little bit fidgety. You could do the adhesive sheets, but we found that glue was just as nice. But the fine tip glue pen is ideal for this. It kind of comes out in a jelly format, and you can actually just take it and put a tiny little bead down in the center and then drop your letter on it, and it works just perfect. So a little bit of patience with this. Little dots. I think I just bumped my C. Ah! There. I did. Bumped my C and he moved. There. Okay. Perfect. This is like doing surgery. Scalpel. All right. Coming into the home stretch here. Around there. Ah, I've glued myself to my tweezers. There we go. All right. Okay. I'm going to set that aside and let it set up. Put those pieces up here out of the way too. Okay. Clean this stuff up a little bit. I'm going to get my little strip of paper and I'm going to do the holiday one. And since this is the block that I have handy, I'm just going to put it in the corner. Bringing in my Evening Evergreen ink. And I only want the holiday, not the S. So I am just inking it up on the edge here very carefully, making sure that I am getting the Y but not the S. Oh, there you. Holiday. There we are. And then I'm going to take my paper snips, snip that off, and flag the end of it. Just like that. There. I have my holiday. All right. All our pieces ready for assembly now. I'll move that out of the way, and I'm going to bring in the paper pumpkin box. So like I said, the one side of them is glossy, shiny, and is actually food safe. And if you were going to put food inside of these, wash your hands before you do this, and sanitize all of that. Maybe try not to over touch the inside. Put some rubber gloves on if you really feel it necessary. But we're going to fold everything into the glossy side, and really that's all you do is you just fold and crease all the fold lines. Go around, do one side, do the other. I'm just loosening up all these folds. Okay. And then all the vertical ones. One at a time like this. All right. And then this second fold on what is the top flap, so not this one, but this one, you also want to fold back the other way, because that's how your box is going to open. That's going to be important to us in a second. And then do poke out, if they're not already poked out, the 4 little flappy hole things in the bottom, and just pull those pieces off. This is where the tabs lock in to lock the box, and you throw those away. All right. You bring up, this is why this had to fold back. You bring up your bottoms and you bring your side flaps in. And all you do is fold one of the sides up, and the 2 little tabs lock into the 2 little holes. So it comes over top, and you just push them in. And then do the other side. Put the flaps in, fold the edge over, and lock the 2 little flaps in. Then these go inside the box, and then these 2 go in the little side slots. So it's just like our paper pumpkin boxes. And you push it in, and it locks, and there you have a box. Great little box, and they're nice and sturdy. It's a real heavy cardboard. All right, time to attach our designer series paper, so whichever one you chose, and you need to cut it down to 5 1/4 by 3.5. So you've got 4 by 6 pieces of all your designer series paper, so you'll easily be able to cut the little ends off, and you'll have those left over for another project. And we're just going to put that right on the top, and it should fit with a nice standard 1/8 inch or just thereabouts margin all the way around the outside. Then we're going to adhere our cheer strip. And this piece has been embossed with the Bark 3D embossing folder. And love that embossing folder. Just adds such a nice texture to it. And this overlaps the designer series paper by a little bit and should come almost to the very edges of your cover. Just goes on there like that. I'm going to be real careful not to smush and move, because does take a little bit for the glue to dry on the foil, and I don't want anything to take off and move on me, so I'm not going to rub it. Then I need my holiday and some dimensionals on the back of the holiday. 3 should be plenty. And that's just going to go up above it here. Holiday cheer. And then we have these 2 little holly leafy things. And I'm going to build a little spot right here above my E. So I'm just going to put a gob of glue. And so this is where a poker tool works good again. Just going to poke that one in there like that. And another little gob of glue right on top of that. And this one's going to offset that one just a little bit. Poke him down in the glue. There we are. And then I gotta look at this to see how I did this. Yes, okay. The big star gets a little dimensional on the back of it. And it will just exactly fit and hide behind it. Okay. And that's going to go right on top of that other stuff, and that'll kind of hold it all in place. Okay, then the little star is going to get just on the 5, just around the hole, not all the way to the tips, but just around the little hole, a little bit of glue. And then he's going to go sort of catty corner to the other one. Like that. And I've got glue coming up through the hole in the middle. That's okay, because in your goodie bag, you've got some rhinestones. And we're just going to take one of the bigger rhinestones. If you can get them. Yeah. Chase them around here. There we go. And we're going to put that. Made up to let your glue dry a little bit. Yeah, okay. So we're going to let the glue dry a little bit. I'll do it on this one. That one's gone. Get it on there and stick it over the hole and cover it. There you are. And then you can put a couple more on to add some bling. You've got lots of rhinestones in your package, so you can really bling up your box. There we are. And then inside your box is where you're going to put either your cookies or your fudge, and send it to me. I'm at 271 Right Lake Run in Upper Tantallon, and I love cookies and I love fudge. Or you can put your finished tag projects in, and it makes a nice little box to keep your tags all handy. And then if you have leftover tags, you've got a place to put all your little leftover tags and stick-ons and things for next Christmas, and pack it away with your Christmas paper and whatnot. Okay, there we are. Would love to see what designer paper you chose, and whether you decided to do the gold or the green, and what color letters you did. At the bottom of this project page, again, there is a Facebook button. Click that Facebook button, go on over to Facebook, take a picture of your project and share it there with us, or at least let us know what you liked and how much fun you had. Okay, great, thanks, and keep on crafting.